Not to be racist or anything, but
Scammers.
I'd like to preface this video by saying that today's episode does not contain any content made famous by the book and movie series that I've loosely based the episode's title on. Yes, this is still very much a family-friendly email scam-baiting show and hasn't taken a bizarre diversion into BDSM. With that little disclaimer out the way, and hopefully with the YouTube moderation team setting aside their ban hammers, let's dive feet first into today's scam bait. We start today with this unconventional opener to a scam, and not one that left me feeling we were about to undergo a long back and forth that would span several days. It says, "Hello, is me a mirror?" So, not knowing how best to respond, I simply reply with, "I don't know. Is you?" In what I believe to be the only templated scam email in this entire scam bait, the scammer provides me with the following backstory to her scam. "Hello dear, I'm using this medium to contact you. My name is Miss Amira Stevens Adele, 21 years old and the only daughter of my late parents, Mr. and Mrs. Stevens Adele. My father was a highly reputable opium dealer in the capital city of Afghanistan all his days, till he passed away last August. It is sad to say that he passed away mysteriously in Kabul on the 17th of August 2021 during one of his opium trips. Though his sudden death was linked, or rather suspected to have been masterminded by my uncle of his, who is a Taliban, the Taliban's with him at the time, but God knows the truth. Though I have not met you before, I believe one has to take risks and trust someone to succeed in life. There is a huge amount of $4,200,000 US which my late father deposited in a storage security firm in United Kingdom. Before the death of my father, he told me I should not let any of our relations to know about this because he was killed by them. And if they know about was he speaking to him from beyond the grave? And if they know about it, that they will do nothing but to kill me in order to take hold of everything. He told me that I should seek for a foreign assistant who will help me to transfer this fund overseas and also travel with him or her in order to continue my life and education and also start a business relationship with the person whom can take care of me in the future. I'm just 21 years old and a university undergraduate and really don't know what to do. This is because I have suffered a lot of setbacks as a result of the incessant crisis here in Afghanistan. The death of my father actually brought sorrow to my life. You think? I am in a sincere desire for your humble assistance in this regard, and your suggestions and ideas will be highly regarded. Now, permit me to ask these few questions. 1. Can I completely trust you? 2. Can you accept me as your own blood sister or daughter? 3. What percentage of the total amount in question will be good for you? Consider this and get back to me as soon as possible with your full assurances that you will not disappoint me in this issue so that I can give you the contact of the firm where my late father deposited the fund for you to contact them on how to transfer the fund to you. Jesus Christ. Thank you so much for your understanding, and may Almighty God bless you and your family." Wanting the scammer to bring me into the folds of her trust, I reply with, "Amira, thank you for contacting me. I must say it was completely unexpected and out of the blue, but I was moved to tears by your mail. I am sorry about your father. It seemed he knew his relatives were out to kill him and to inherit his fortune or business. I am in awe of the huge amount of money you have currently set aside, and I will certainly aid you in recovering it. I am not surprised you were brought much sorrow by your father's death. It is never easy to lose a loved one. In answer to your questions, 1. You can trust me 100% risk-free. 2. I can accept you as a blood sister, daughter, cousin or aunt as long as no actual blood is involved, as I'm quite squeamish. 3. I would say anywhere between 41.7 and 42.1% if my calculations are correct. But if this is too much, please let me know a more suitable recompense. And feeling like I didn't quite drive the point home far enough, follow up with, also, I will never disappoint you. I will never give you up, never let you down, never run around or desert you. The scammer, who probably did not get the 419 reference from my previous mail, responds to request I accept him or reasonable 15% of this made-up fund in some bizarre attempt to keep the whole business looking plausible. And I reply to accept her ridiculous terms. Amira fleshes out her scam further by telling me about her living situation and that she is using a communal computer in the refugee camp to justify her potentially slow reply rate. In a interesting take on the scam formula we are all used to, however, Amira tells me that the supposed consignment box containing her father's bequeathed wealth is actually here in the United Kingdom. Ooh, how are they going to justify the delivery charges now when I live only a few hours' drive away? I respond conciliatory and end my email with this. Don't worry about long gaps in replies. I intend to cultivate a long correspondence with you for completely legitimate purposes. Now, because I was conducting this scam bait via mobile, I had accidentally deleted the scammer's response to my last email, so I sent her a nudge asking her to resend it. No. Amira, interested in getting my money through lies and manipulation, acquiesces and, surprise surprise, asks me to provide her with some of my ever-important details which could lead me down a path of identity theft if Ragaus Gupta were a real person. When I don't reply for a few hours, the scammer, undoubtedly impatient, sends this polite poke. Hello dear, I am yet to read from you. I hope all is well with you? In a reply which hints at the events of a future scam bait, I send, sorry Amira, bit of a hostage situation at the bank. Here are my details. And close the email with my completely real details. Amira responds to tell me she has submitted my details to the storage security company and gives me their bona fides, then instructs me to send an introductory email before reminding me, almost like an afterthought, that they know nothing about the contents of the box. Yeah, because that makes sense. Now, this is the point where we are introduced to the second scammer in this charade. But what's interesting is I really don't know if this is the same scammer juggling two mailboxes or two separate scammers working in cahoots. Either way, given how this scam proceeds and eventually concludes, if it is the same person, then I have real concerns about their mental capability. If it's two different people, then clearly this is the first time they've ever gotten this far in a scam, and their clear lack of chemistry is utterly laughable. See what you think, and let me know in the comments below. Before I can contact the security company, however, they contact me and get my backup immediately by demanding that I reconfirm certain details before signing off the email with the totally legit British name of Mr. Gray Adams. Never one to allow a scammer to use such strong language when speaking to me, I reply with, Dear Mr. Gray, thank you for getting in touch so swiftly. Below are my details you requested. One more thing, however, I did not appreciate being demanded to provide such information. Moving forward, I would like our correspondence to be far more egalitarian and less authoritarian if we are to conduct business in a relaxed and professional manner. I send this to update Amira and to keep up appearances that I am falling into their trap, when really they are sinking ever deeper into mine. Completely out of the blue, Amira replies with this suspicious email. Dear Sir, thank you very much on your efforts. Please keep me informed on your progress with them. In your previous mail, you talked about a hostage situation at the bank. What was it all about? And I respond, I will do, Amira. Oh, that's just a figure of speech. They keep you waiting so long in the bank, it's like they're holding you and your money hostage. Well done for paying attention, though. Exactly what happened at the bank will be something we explore in a future episode. I ping off a short email to Mr. Gray as his silence is not helping us to progress further into the scam, and update Amira accordingly as well. She hits me up with a reply agreeing with my statement, and I'm sat there wondering, if these are two different scammers working together, where's the communication? I question if the security company is even legitimate in my reply, which was a moot point because obviously it isn't. Amira replies to voice her own concerns about the lack of a reply from them. Oh, I'd have given anything to see the exchange internally between these two. Of course, if it is the same person, then that just raises a whole bunch of other questions. Yeesh. You're a nut! You're crazy in the coconut! Finally, Mr. Gray responds to say, Dear Sir, Madam, I want to confirm to you that we have received and certified OK your personal details in this office as demanded. Considering your address, I can assume you are in the UK. However, we are working on the delivery process and more details of it will be sent to you in the coming hours. They're probably trying to work out how best to scam me given I'm in the same country as the alleged consignment box. And, gleeful to finally start annoying this scammer, I happily reply, "Okay, that's great. I was starting to worry when you had not replied. I really want to help Miss Amira. Yes, I am in the UK, very astute. Given you are also in the UK, I am anticipating very little in the way of logistical problems. Also, I'm a man." I send this to Amira to keep her updated and to encourage some sort of correspondence, given how hesitant Mr. Gray is to speak to me. Amira replies to express her own annoyance at her partner in Scam's poor work ethic, but encourages patience as perhaps she felt I was beginning to pull away. "Oh no, it's not me bailing out on this business you've got to worry about." I inform her of my dedication to her cause to alleviate any concerns she may have with me, her latest and perhaps first victim, and try to add a bit of surface dressing to reassure the scammers I am more than willing to go the distance.
"I will find my way. I can go the distance."
Sadly, this reply disgusted me somewhat, as I am more than aware that there are genuine people in refugee camps living in questionable conditions, and the fact this scammer is using this as a backdrop for her scammy performance is, in my opinion, extremely bad taste. This email, in all its simplicity, is further proof that scammers will use any crisis, real or imagined, to their advantage in hopes they can manipulate the empathy of decent people into sending money to them. For shame. I decide we've been going around in circles long enough on the subject of Mr. Gray's inability to reply to an email and try to spice things up a spell by sending, "Amish, I am waiting to receive an account to make payment to the company. With some luck, we will be getting you out of that camp and to the UK post-haste. So I know it's you when we finally meet. I don't suppose you have any photographs of you I can see." And to my surprise, Amira does. 4 in fact. Definitely not pulled from Google or social media, yet for unrelated reasons I won't enlarge them further. She also tries to subconsciously persuade me that her and Mr. Gray are 2 separate scammers by openly speculating about how much I'm going to be asked to pay. I reply in kind and include the one and only pic of the man himself. Mr. Gray hits me up with one of his rare replies. I'll read this in full given how absent he has been in the episode so far, and please bear in mind this is a person who has supplied me with a UK mobile number, suggesting this particular scammer is in the UK, so I am expecting a higher level of literacy than we are used to. "Dear Sir, Madam, read and understand the necessary proceedings directives as regards the release and delivery of the said consignment to you in your location on her behalf as she has officially demanded. A legal document known as Power of Attorney is required from the Ministry of Justice through the High Court, bearing your name and other given information. This document is the sole authority we have to release and deliver the aforementioned consignment to you in your location hitch-free, and as well your right to claim the consignment when delivered to you as the chosen beneficiary claimer of Ms. Amira Adele Stevens. That's not her name. You are hereby advised to provide the legal authority's processing fee of £1,280 for the procurement of the said document. The payment details will be provided to you as soon as you agree on the above to enable us effect the documentation into your name for the legitimate release and delivery of the box to you. When this is done, the legal document could be obtained in 48 hours and the consignment will be delivered to your address within 24 hours. Thank you for working with us and be assured of the best of our service."
So, I am expecting a higher level of literacy than we are used to.
Disappointed!
Happy to have something to work with, I unhelpfully respond, "Dear Mr. Gray, yes, I accept the terms as laid out in your email. Please begin the process of securing this power of attorney. Also, for the second time, I am a man, a Mr. Therefore, you do not need to begin your email with Sir/Madam, as it is not a condition within me likely to fluctuate." Ignoring my assertion that I am a man, Mr. Gray replies with this grammatically correct whopper. "Attention, Mr. Gupta. In that case, you have to specific on the day you wish to pay the processing fee of £1,280 for the procurement of the said document in your name, so we can provide you with the payment details." What? And I respond accordingly. Perhaps, tentatively, the scammer shares with me the account details of a money mule, and I report it immediately before even considering formulating a reply. Fraudulent receiving account reporting done, I send this suggestive reply after the fact. Hi Mr. Grat. Thanks for that. I'll see what I can do with that information. Now at this point the scam was progressing much in the way I expected it to, and in the way that these advanced fee scams normally do. That was all turned on its head with the very next email I received. In a plot twist I never saw coming, Amira gets back in the game to make me aware of an email that she received from Mr. Gray and even forwards it to me for my perusal. Let's have a read then. Dear Sir, I received this below mail from the storage company. I am confused. What's going on? Dear Sir, Madam, I'm writing you this email to inform you that the man you introduced us to and said is a family member, Mr. Gupta. We have many reasons to believe he is not a serious person. Simply put, he is a joker. He was never interested right from the first day he contacted this office. We knew but just decided to follow up. It's easy to recognise unserious people like him. We are only bringing this to your attention so as not to waste our valuable time. That's exactly what you're doing. In a second follow-up from Amira, she plays scammer in the middle and begins mediating on the shocking accusations from Mr. Gray. Dear Sir, I hope you received my forwarded mail from the storage company. I am confused on what they said. How could they say such? I have replied to them and waiting for their reply. And I respond to quell the uprising occurring behind the scenes. Still addressing me privately, Amira says, Dear Sir, I have read your messages and I understand all you said. I'm just surprised they could lay such accusations without any form of proof. I don't like it. I wrote them a mail and am yet to hear from them. And, hoping beyond hope these two are in regular contact, or, even better, are actually the same person, I reply, Between you and me, Amira, I think this Mr. Gray has a stick up his ass. But I'll make the payment on Tuesday, and hopefully my time dealing with him will be short. Addressing Mr. Gray directly now, I start damage control because I'll be damned if I'm going to let this scam wither and die so soon. My Gray, please inform Mr. Daniel Evans that the bank details provided are incorrect. I went to the bank yesterday to attempt payment only for the cashier to inform me they were receiving an error code when entering his details. I would have contacted you sooner about this, but I have recently gone through a divorce and my ex-wife Maureen took most of my possessions, including a box that was very treasured by me. This has left me in a fairly low mood, and I just couldn't face emailing you once I returned home. Continuing the process of damage control, I composed this email to both scammers in hopes of sealing the cracks rapidly forming in my own legitimacy. Amira, thank you for your email concerning the concerns of the security company. I have emailed them separately this morning, as well as copied them into this email also. I am serious about this. I attempted payment yesterday and explained in my email to them why I was unable to complete that. Providing they can give me details that are genuine, I am more than happy to pay the £1,280 to procure a power of attorney. The ball is in your court, Mr. Gray. I double down on wanting to restore my reputation with the elusive Mr. Gray and send this follow-up to clear up the matter once and for all. Mr. Gray/Amira. I think what has been misconstrued here is that in one of my earlier emails to the storage company, I insisted to Mr. Gray I was male, whilst he still began each email with Dear Sir/Madam, and I took soft offence to this, and was perhaps a little too forceful in correcting him. Mayhap that is the reason he has so far found me to be disingenuous. I may give you a call later, Mr. Gray. Email is such a slow method of communication, and oftentimes lacking tone of voice, meaning people are misunderstood. Just a little postscript now that I'm in the editing process. So I did actually try to call Mr. Gray several times during this scam bait, and surprise, surprise, not once did he answer, which is a shame because I think that would have been an interesting addition to the scam bait, but never mind, we'll try again next time. My Gray's having none of it, however, and his short reply is, I trust, indicative of his annoyance and cynicism about this whole situation. All the more fool him to keep responding to me then. He says, Attention, Mr. Gupta. The same account was used to receive funds yesterday and even this morning. With a bank mobile app, you can easily effect transfers to anywhere. It's pitiful that you said you went to a bank to meet a cashier. Curious to see if I could, at least temporarily, patch things up with Mr. Gray, I send Mr. Gray, I figured out what I did wrong. I've just looked at the receipt I received from the bank and I gave them the account number with one digit misplaced. Jesus, do I feel stupid. I don't use mobile banking given my advancing years, so going into the bank is my preferred method of paying and receiving money. Can we start over? And I provide photographic evidence in a follow-up because pictures never lie. Please don't mug my handwriting. Amira, now responding to my numerous joint emails, replies to me to say, Dear sir, if the account number you used was wrong, why not use the right one and transfer the money to them so as to avoid all these embarrassment? After the transfer, then you write them and tell them you have used the right number to transfer the money. They have not answered me again after I replied them. Copying both scammers in, I send, Hi Amira and Gray. I will go back on Tuesday and make the payment of £1,280 to the correct account and, indeed, avoid any further embarrassment. It's a bank holiday on Monday, that's why I can't do it sooner. Gray will know this, given he lives in the UK. A day later, I decide to test the boundaries of this bizarre love triangle we've got going on by sending Amira this mysterious email. Amira, I have uncovered something disturbing about Mr. Gray. Please reply urgently. And replying urgently, Amira states, Dear sir, I read all your mails. Please, what is it you discovered? Given it is my want to frustrate and delay the scam process right as it appears to be gaining traction, I share my concerns with Amira. Mr. Gray Adams is a fraud. The address details he provided are not for a storage company at all, but an apartment block in London. A simple Google Street View was all it took to debunk that. The company he purports to work for does exist, but the address is slightly different. If he had any intelligence higher than that required to wipe his own rear end, he could have mitigated that and given you the real address, which would have dispelled much doubt on my part. Additionally, I have tried numerous times to contact him on the phone number provided, and not once has he answered. Finally, his hostility towards me is indicative of his inexperience, and I have little to doubt that he is nothing but a small boy, playing at trying to fool people out of their money. My question for you, Amira, is where on earth is your money? Did you really send it to Mr. Gray Adams? I think you need to contact him and find out what's happened to your fortune. This does not get the kind of immediate response I had expected, though I suppose in hindsight this was because of the scammers scrambling behind the scenes to try and figure out how best to keep this plausible so they can deprive me of £1,280. I send a gentle nudge to encourage action. Amira? Thankfully, the delay in response time is explained, as in this somewhat beefy reply there is an attachment. Ooh. Dear sir, I have gone through your mail and really surprised about what you said. My dad was the one that deposited the box containing the fund to them. I was not there and has never been to their office. The certificate of deposit I attached was issued by the storage company when my dad deposited the box to them. He declared it as family valuables, as I explained to you in one of my previous emails. I am currently here in Afghanistan. If I was not stuck here, I would have gone there and claimed the package myself. There must be an explanation to all what you said, but I cannot just write the director right now and start calling him fraud when I have no proof. What if I'm wrong? My dad made that deal with them, and I believe he trusted them before he made it. As it is, it seems it's going to be a never-ending issues between you and the director, which I believe will hamper any dealings with them. And if you are not dealing with them again, let me know so I will know what to do. Oof, dramatic. Right, let's take a look at the certificate. Maybe this will convince me this whole thing's No, wait, never mind. It's laughably bad, as always. Alright, let's have a look at you then. Well, from the top we have the fake address that appears to show us a block of flats, which may or may not be where this scammer is based, and not the headquarters of Premium Security Services. Behind the details in the centre of the document is a very pixely image of... Is it wings? 2 lions facing each other? 2 opposing Twister ice creams? I really don't know. The certificate of deposit text is not perfectly central in its ugly grey rectangle, and the fonts of the various categories are completely inconsistent. Did anyone proofread this shit? The data provided in the various categories are just random pieces of information clearly used as set dressing for the whole scam. And, oh yeah, of course, neither signature looks even remotely like the printed names they purport to be. No surprise there then. Sheesh. Mr. Gray Adams even looks like it says Paul Edge. I'm not sure if that's the first name of U2's lead guitarist, but whatever. Don't even ask me what I think this says, but I can tell you what it doesn't. Stevens Adele. There's this red shape which I guess is meant to be a seal or stamp or something, but just looks like an excited toddler's leftover clip art. And finally, a semi-genuine looking ink stamp, which is nifty considering this was a digital creation. My theory is that this ink stamp is the only genuine thing on this document, and that's what the scammers have based their entire company name and even the deposit date on, which is funny considering that Amira's father was killed on the 17th of August 2021. It's a pity he didn't deposit it somewhere, oh I don't know, a little closer to Afghanistan. Ugh. Trying to justify these fake certificates as genuine just makes my head hurt. Deciding to derail the scam in favour of pulling at the scammer's own thread of suspicion about her partner/alter ego, I reply, I'm just as surprised as you are, no doubt. I suppose we now need to find out why Mr. Gray Adams has been lying to you and me about who he really is, and why he is providing false details in respect to paying for the collection of your sealed box. But Amira, possibly realising she won't likely get any money from me if we continue down that amusing line of inquiry, responds, Dear Sir, the first time I communicated with this storage company was after the demise of my dad. Already my dad earlier told me about them. When I sent them a mail and also attached the certificate of deposit, they confirmed it and said my dad has a box under their custody. They said I should come and claim it, and I now asked them if it can be delivered, and they said yes. My dad gave me everything about them. My dad trusted them and deposited the box there. So why should I feel they are lying to me when they have confirmed everything to me? They didn't deny having the box, even after telling them I lost my dad. I've gone through your mails very well, and I understand both of you have issues, both of you accusing yourselves, and I'm in the middle of this, meaning there will be no breakthrough. So if you are no longer willing to proceed, which is exactly your state of mind, I will understand and find other solution. Wanting the scammer to do the legwork on the recovery, however, I reply asking Amira to convince Mr. Gray to agree to continue working with me, as the idea of a scammer convincing another scammer who already suspects me to be a scambaiter to continue to play face with their charade is just hilarious to me. Amira, clearly sensing the difficulty of this task, responds with a pleading, Dear Sir, I have gone through your mail and I understand all you said, but how do I get you people to work together? Both of you are older and more like a father to me. How should I tell both of you what to do and how to do it? And how do I get him on board? Wouldn't he see whatever I tell him as trying to teach him his job? You have always said you wanted to help me, and I believe that. Concluding it and having the knocks in your possession will be the best thing that has happened to me for a long time. Maybe I will just write the director a mail and hear what he has to say. I will do that now. Yes, you do that. Plucking a fruit from a plentiful tree that grew to vast heights fed only by the angry tears of scammers, God, what a sentence, I send, Amira, if you can get Mr. Gray Adams to apologise to me via email, then I will proceed to make the payment of £1,280 today. But I am a principled man. He must apologise for his unprofessional conduct first. The scammer, clearly flustered and frustrated, replies to complain about her lot in life by saying, Dear Sir, I wrote the director and he replied immediately and stated that it is his job to obtain the document and then effect the delivery. He said he is a professional and will do his job. After reading your below mail, I must say that I don't know what to say, because you are sending me to do something that is unnecessary. I say it's unnecessary because you are the one rendering me the help and not the director. If you are giving a condition for helping me, it will be different. But in this case, you are directing it to the director, who does not need the help and has absolutely nothing to lose. Come to think of it, what do you expect me to tell him? And what if he refuses? So it will become a never-ending situation, being caught in the middle of two men. Ah, diddums. Happy that things are so incredibly off track that I can send emails like this, I decide to stick to my guns regarding the ever-suspicious Mr. Gray and lay out my terms. Amira, just ask Mr. Gray to send me an email. Tell him to reach out to me first, and whether he apologises or not is immaterial. I am quite a stubborn, and I really do not wish to be the one to make the first move, so to speak. If you can ask him to send me an email, prompting me to continue our business, then I will acquiesce and get your money sent. I simply do not wish to give him the satisfaction of me crawling back. And Amira, hopefully fed up at this point, replies to say she will do what I've asked, and I cheerfully confirm receipt of her response. And stroppily, Mr. Gray does finally reach out to me first, meaning automatically I win this round. His short email just reiterates the need for payment to be received before we can move any further. But I have other plans. Okay, but I'd like you to apologise for your unprofessional conduct first. Do that and I'll grab my coat and go make the payment. And don't worry, I've written the account details down correctly this time. But Mr. Gray has had enough and sends this grammatical monstrosity for me to chortle over. Attention, Mr. Gupta. I should apologise to you? Based on what? It's surprising you have a lot of energy going to this extent of childishness. Aren't you tired or even ashamed? You are a very crafty joker looking for where to play. Unfortunately, the little girl believed in you. I believe with time, she would know what kind of person you really are. And, realising the game is up, I respond with the email equivalent to a Whopper with cheese. You should apologise for your initial hostile treatment of me, when all I did was write down the account number incorrectly by transposing one number. You should also apologise for your extremely poor research skills, as any quick Google search would show that the actual premium security services is at 23 Park Royal Road, London, and not the address which you have in your signature. That address, by the way, is for a block of flats, and a simple Google Street View shows that clear as day. No, sir. Why would I need to feel shame? I know who and what I am, and more to the point, I know what you are. If any of us needs to feel shame, it's you. You know what you're doing, and although there are plenty of you out there, I can rest easy knowing if they are as totally incompetent as you, then fewer and fewer people will get scammed as time goes on. I've reported what details I've managed to extract, if only to inconvenience you, but I always hope it may lead to something more long-lasting. So, ready to apologise? And in a trend we see all too often, the scammer, when faced with the truth and defeat, stubbornly asserts they are genuine whilst trying to discredit me. Here is Mr. Gray's final tantrum. It's laughable that a so-called grown-up man could condescend this low. From the first day you contacted this office, I already knew your type, hence I never took you serious. You ooze ignorance by your words and actions, and as such, I will not stoop that low to your level. Crafty clown, please kindly go play somewhere else. This is not a playground. I try and coax additional responses from Mr. Gray, but with no luck. It seems as though he no longer has time for this crafty clown. Surprisingly, I get this email from Amira a while later, which does lead me to firmly suspect these are two scammers at play here, instead of one slightly kooky one. Realising I might be able to squeeze a bit more annoyance out of this scammer, I reply with, "Yes, we've made contact. He didn't apologise though." Which didn't get a bite, so I chase. So, what's next? And Amira does reply, stating she had seen the conversation between me and Mr. Gray, and of how surprised she was to see what extent of insulting each other we went to over apologies and no apologies. Oh, Amira, never underestimate the power of the word sorry. Continue down this path and you may find yourself in a position where you seek forgiveness for what you have done. Cards on the table, knowing that the game is up, I send this final appeal to Amira just to see what kind of response I might get. Yes, I was surprised he couldn't swallow his pride long enough to pretend to apologise to at least have a shot at scamming me. Truly a shame, but it is always so fun to see scammers fumble about trying to justify their existence. I suppose you'll do the same, or just stop talking to me outright, which is a real shame because I'd love nothing more than to start a conversation with a real scammer about why they do what they do. It would be super interesting, and I know a lot of people who would be interested in listening. But I clearly spoke prophecy in my previous email, as at this point the scammer had finally decided to call it quits. Oh well. It was certainly fun to mess about with these two scammers, and honestly, what the hell was going on behind the scenes? I've never done a scam bait involving two scammers where one clearly knows I'm a crafty clown, yet the other seems to hold on to some desperate hope that that's not the case, and continues to waste more of their time in some weird belief that I'm going to part with the money. Absolutely bizarre. I mean, I'm grateful, otherwise this bait would never have become a video, and that would have been a crying shame to deprive you all of this weird exchange. Well guys, if you've made it this far, then thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I'd also like to thank you for your patience as I continue to explore additional content on my channel, in addition to the scam baiting. I did juggle with the idea of setting up a separate channel just for the gaming stuff, but ultimately I've just decided to keep this channel as my one repository for everything that I do. If you are here just for the scam baiting stuff, then by all means just ignore any content that you know doesn't hold any interest for you. That's fine. If you've enjoyed today's episode and you want to see more, then please consider liking and subscribing. And if you fancy a chat, then hit me up in the comments, because you know I'll always get back to you. Anyway, that's enough from me now. All that's left to say is take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. With that little disclaimer out the way, and hopefully with the YouTube moderation... book and movie series. From what bizarre twist or turn into being. I can't read. With the very next email I received. What happened there? And in the way that these advanced scams. Well, guys, if you've made it this far, then thanks so much for watching. And I look down there, well, there's nothing down there.